Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining LivLive here. This is episode 10. So we're really excited to get all the way to 10 and not be canceled yet. So kudos to us. Really excited for episode 10 to have Kimberly Canada from Park Patina in Orlando, Florida. Thank you for joining us, Kimberly.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit before, in the green room. You and your husband, Sean, are kind of that iconic husband-wife design build scenario. So I'm really curious how that came to be. Did you guys together say, let's do this? Did one person start doing something and another person do something different and you merge? Can you kind of take us through that origin story?
Yeah, I'm going to say my husband was in the industry before I was. He actually grew up in the industry. His father started with carpentry, custom cabinetry, refinishing pianos, and doing a lot of craftsman work around the historic area of Orlando. And then ventured into more of like the kitchen and bath focus. So my husband grew up around that. And when he specialized in as an electrician, and then started joining his dad in doing the projects. So then I came on at some point and helped with design, kind of went out for a little bit and raised our babies, and then came back in to help. So we've grown over the years. And in 2020, my father-in-law, who had started the business, said, you know what, like, I'm ready to kind of back out and semi-retire. And so Sean and I took over the business. And then it wasn't a design build at the time. It was a little bit more of just like a pull and replace, remodel kitchen and bath company. But we were like, there's something more here that we want to take the business further. We want to do more. We want to dream big. So that's when we've discovered design build. And we're like, okay, that fits our vision better for where we want to go, and started leaning into that process. And then in, it's 2025, so a year and a half ago. So beginning of 2024, we rebranded to Park Patina. And now we have a good, we're boutique. We're small in Central Florida, but we have a really, really good team with us. So.
And what was your name before?
It was Kitchen and Bath Plus, which is
a
very good name, like excellent keywords. But Park Patina, there's a few park avenues around Orlando. We would kind of stroll down and talk and dream. It's kind of designer row, foodie and fun things to look at. So that kind of stuck with us. And then Patina, we like to design and build things that are going to grow beautiful over time, will be long lasting. So we kind of put that together, Park and Patina.
No, I love it. I think it was really cool. I remember when you guys came out with it. I don't know if it was in the Remodelers Community Facebook, but we're all talking about it. But you look at Kitchen and Bath Plus, right? That is certainly one market. But if you're trying to, reach more customized, specialty, niche, boutique, people who care about a lot of the things that you guys care about, it makes a lot of sense, right? And the website's beautiful. Everything really aligns well. So you guys did great. And then the structure with you guys, so you're running design, right?
Yes.
The design side. And then what does Sean do?
What does he do?
Talk about him the whole time.
He's the GC. He's a residential contractor. And he is kind of like the CEO of the business. We're 50-50. We hold everything 50-50. But we have our roles that we know what we're really good at. So he holds that, does like the financials, the estimating, overseeing project management, and overall like taking the heavy load of clients and checking in on rough-in and things like that. So he stays pretty busy. And we both do the, potential client calls in, on-site visits, things like that, we handle together. So we actually, depending on the scope of the project, we kind of decide who's a better fit to go out on site with the client. And if it's something really big where it's like there's a lot of design side here, but there's a lot of structure, we'll possibly both go together, which is really fun.
Any asking for a friend? Any challenges in working with a spouse?
I would say one of the biggest challenges, and probably a bit like a question for couples who do work together, is how you separate that, like work, not talking about work all the time, and having some home life where it's not always invading. Which I say, like, just have your events and things that you do as a family and hobbies that you can have fun at, but you're going to talk some work stuff at home. So it's too hard to divide that.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, even when, at least with my wife and I, when we didn't work together, we would still talk about work all the time.
Yeah.
We would talk about, now at least when we talk about work, we're talking about the same goal, right? As opposed to, her job and my job. So that's good to hear that that's one of the biggest challenges. It does seem like, I see what you're saying though too, because it's so important to kind of turn your brain off from work, as an owner and entrepreneur. And it's very, very hard to do. And I could see that being, more and more a challenge while you're going to Disney World, and it just makes it even stronger when you're both talking about it. At the same time, think about how efficient that is, right?
It can be. I think we probably lean into some creative stuff. Like maybe when we're out of the office and we want to talk work stuff, are we kind of being creative and inspiring each other? Are we doing something that we really like? We're going to walk and look at homes and kind of talk about what we do like, things like that. I think is a good opportunity where you're still kind of talking about it, but you're trying to make it funner,
I like that. I love the word funner too. It's one of my favorite words.
Is that a word?
So funny story. Way back in the day, people said, where did live companies come from? LivCo. My first company, and I just did kind of side design work, was called Live Funner.
So, that's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, because it's not really a word, and that's what makes it fun, right?
Yeah.
The whole idea was like, let's be a little bit more fun and loose with architecture and design and do some really cool creative stuff.
That's good. That brings up something good too. I mean, we in the design studio, we try to laugh as much as we can. Sometimes we get distracted, because we're just having fun together and we have to put ourselves back on track. But I think it's a really good thing. We do try to make it fun around here and have a good time. So you have to have that.
Heck yeah. All right. So I'm not going to let you change the subject too much.
Okay.
In the husband-wife scenario, owning the company 50-50, if there is a disagreement or an argument over something, who wins?
Ooh.
And I know what Sean's answer is going to be.
That is going to be okay. This does happen. I'm going to say if it is more of the financial, how do we solve like a challenge, maybe it's like with the project, the client, something like that going on. Sean and I talk, but ultimately he's going to have the bigger say for the most part. If it's like, trust me, this light fixture is going to be amazing and it's worth it, or the paint color, something like that, then I get that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I can see that making sense. Cool. And then we were kind of talking about some new project types that you guys are starting to do. What's a really cool project that you guys are really excited about right now?
Yeah. So we have a few historic homes that we're in design for right now. One of them, I'm excited about all of them, but one of them that comes to mind right now is a 1910 Spanish inspired home. So we're renovating the entire interior of the home, and we're also adding onto. the home as well. So it's very exciting. It's there's a lot of aspects of the funny quirks and different things of the home that they want to keep. And then there's some creative things where like, well, code won't let us do that if we're changing some things around, but how do we keep that feel or turn it into something where it's still unique and to itself? So our creative minds are also engaged there too with the clients. And so it's a lot of fun. I know it's going to turn out to be a really good project.
Well, and I was a little bit curious doing, Sean and his dad started in kind of historic work in Orlando. For people that don't live in Orlando, which is probably 90% of people in the U.S. have been to Orlando, right? But they don't really know historic Orlando. They know Disney World and Universal and all that, right? So I kind of imagine it being, I wouldn't have thought Spanish style. Whatever reason in my head, it would be a little bit more like Florida Keys style. Is that not? Describe what a historic
like
homes in Orlando are.
There's a lot of like more of a craftsman style that tends to be like, it'll be historic. We're actually, our design studio is in a historic home in a suburb of Orlando. So we're in Longwood, which if you've heard of Winter Park, Florida, we're really close to Winter Park. But we're in a historic, the Milby House. So it's more of a craftsman style, I would say. So yeah, you'll find that, and you'll find a lot of like the Spanish styles as well in the downtown Orlando areas, where you're going to find most of that.
Cool. And I'll be out there for the Builder Show.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we'll be there.
Come see you guys.
Oh, that would be good.
What's kind of the construction methods? If it's is it concrete block and stucco, or is it pretty normal construction frame?
Yeah, a lot of, for the historic, there's a lot of plaster and stucco. For newer builds, and we have a lot of slab construction, so it just depends the home and how old it is, but there's a lot of slab around. And then newer homes, they're going to have like block construction on the first floor, and then they'll probably have stud for the second.
And are you guys, do you do a lot of additions? What's kind of your normal project mix?
Yeah, I would say full home renovations, or majority of the home, and then addition. A lot of people wanting to add like a second primary suite onto their home. Maybe take in the garage that they have now to like a gym, an additional bedroom, and then they want to add like a 3-car garage, something like that. So yeah, we have a lot of those going on.
What's the impetus for the second primary bedroom? Is that in-laws moving in, guests?
There's a lot of in-laws, guests, or maybe the primary bedroom is just small, but they see that it would work for like one of their kids or somebody, kind of like as an ensuite basically, and they just want to maximize some space and have larger closets, bathroom. Kind of an easier way to do that is just to add it on versus try to work within the existing interior of the home.
No, it makes sense. I mean, in our house here, we did a primary addition on the second floor, and then of course gave my 7-year-old daughter her own ensuite.
Nice.
Right, with the pink bathroom and the whole deal. So it was a little bit of a loaded question, realizing that, yeah, that's right. We have a second master just for my now 8-year-old daughter. So I'm kind of curious process wise, and I don't know that I've really been through this with you guys before. We've talked about it in our groups or with Sean, but using that addition project as kind of an example, can you walk me through the process of how that kind of came in the door all the way through to you guys have it under construction?
Yeah. So for projects that are an addition based, there's a lot of questions, right? Like, what's the city going to allow us to do? What's the permeability ratio? Things like that. Like, what can we do? So we do feasibility first. So we want to talk with the clients and do kind of like a qualification first to see, are we a right fit? I mean, we love addition projects, but what kind of time frame are they looking at? Are we able to engage in their time frame? So we ask some questions like that. We'll go on site at that point, kind of walk around, take a look. And if they want to engage with us more and start really vetting out plans, then it's we call it conceptuals and feasibility. So then we're taking a fee. Usually it's like a flat fee, but based on, it's going to be smaller if it's a smaller addition, larger if it's a bigger one. But so then we'll engage our architect, engineer. We'll come out and do a scan of the property so we can get that as-built design. In our program, we use Chief Architect. And then just work on some concepts first. So at that point, there's no like detailed elevations of what's the cabinet layout going to be or selections, anything like that yet. We're really just vetting out before we go into full design to make sure like this can happen the way that the client would like it to be, or if we need to make some scope revisions. So we do that first. That's the feasibility and concepts. Once we get done with that, we'll have a better idea, because of structure and things that we're doing, what the investment would be for the client. So we have that conversation and say, okay, it looks like here's what we can do, here's where we're at. Do you want to move forward into the next step, which would be the full design and development? Because now we have some concept plans. And that's where we do all the selections and really get into the funner stuff. So then we're into our normal process that we do once we've basically vetted it out. And then through that process, now we have floor plans, elevations, renderings, mood boards, select all the things, so that now we can do our proposal for their project. Knowing like everything we're planning, we're able to do, here's how we're going to do it, here's what we're installing, no allowances, anything like that. We know exactly what we're looking at. So we try to have as little change orders for the project as possible, because we've spec'd everything out and our team has been on site to look at everything. We've talked with the city. Do they have septic? Where is it? Do they need a bigger septic? Like we're looking at all of those systems and planning for it. So then we're ready for contract. We sign, and then we get all the plans and everything, permits and everything going. So it's like a snapshot of what it looks like.
That's literally exactly what we do.
Okay. Yeah.
No, it's very, very well aligned. We have a hard time, ballparking, because we literally don't know what the project is yet.
Yeah.
We don't know all the nuances. So we have a paid feasibility that generates the budget, or the investment amount, as you guys call it. And then the way we do talk about investment or budget is we do have previous projects. So I don't know what your project's going to be, but I can show you a general scope of work of a similar project type, and this is how that kind of shakes out. But there's no way for me to ballpark what a second story addition is going to be. It's going to be anywhere from $450,000 to $8 million. I don't know, right? What is it? And then same thing. Then we do the second step. Now you're outsourcing all of your architectural work and your field measure, huh? That's kind of interesting. And I don't know if they're watching right now, but have you guys thought about bringing that all in-house?
We would like to at some point. At this point, we have a lot of people reach out from all over the place wanting, architecture, engineering, all the services they offer. We're very relationship based. So we found people in the area. We can see them. We can meet with them. We talk with them all the time. I have a meeting later today with one. And, so it's kind of feels like they're a little bit on our team. They're basically, we use them on all of our projects. When we find somebody that really aligns well with us, they understand our quality of what we're looking for and just our approach to build, then we work with them a lot. But eventually that would be cool to get to where we just have them hired on our team.
I mean, if it works, it's not that wildly different than we subcontract out all of our construction work, right? So it's not that wildly different. Once you build out the relationship and the system and the process, you guys are on the same page and you guys are leading it. Which we have some outside support when we have, especially on existing conditions drawings and things like that. But I could see we have had a couple projects where we didn't do the architectural design, and they come to us and we say, well, that's fine, then we don't have to deal with all that stuff, but we have less control over the timeline,
Right.
in terms of permit submittals and revisions, where we can prioritize revisions and things like that in a team. But once you're outsourcing it, unless you are really aligned with the people that you're working with, like it sounds like you guys are, you're competing with other clients that might have to wait over them flipping the door swing, was one of the challenges that we've run into when we don't design it. Because fundamentally, if you're in design build, you're there because you're a control freak.
That's true.
You're totally like, this is crazy. I can build this out and do this better. I can do this more efficiently. Not necessarily better, but more efficiently, right? Because you're all working on the same team. You're able to prioritize. And so it's really hard when you have a completely different industry that you understand that is out of your control, more or less, right? But anyway, I was just kind of curious about that. How about you guys, construction-wise? Do you guys have in-house labor, or are you guys mostly subbing out?
We have some in-house. It just kind of depends. They're mostly like very skilled craftsmen. So they can definitely, like, we have them work on the project for that and step in during those higher level craftsman projects that we have. But otherwise, we do work with trades that we've built a relationship with. So again, like, we're using them in every project that we have, basically, as long as, their quality is up to our standards. And we, for the most part, like we're planning our projects ahead. And so for the most part, we don't have issues with like time lagging, stagnant work sites or anything like that. We reserve the time and we keep things rolling pretty well. So so far so good with that.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of different models to it. We've seen a lot of colleagues self-perform and then go to subbing everything out and then kind of going back to a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
And certain projects just make sense for certain specialized trades that maybe your team isn't as good at, or vice versa, right?
Right.
So I don't know what the right solution is, but Sean can do electrical work, it sounds like. So
he was a journeyman. So I don't think he holds that right. He holds the GC license, and but he knows a lot. He knows obviously a lot about the electrical, a lot about the different trades, and so he's really helpful on site to bring some insight and kind of see things that need to be seen in good time. So he's always shocking me by what he knows. I when he talks building science, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your love language, is building science?
It's evidently one of them.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Well, and we were talking about it before in the green room there, and I'm an architect, which is a bit of a curse when it comes to a lot of things, because we think we know everything, and we kind of know a little bit about everything, but not a lot about anything, right? The jack of all trades, master of nothing. And I remember going on a job site years ago, and I walked in, and the electrician's like, "Oh, effing architects here. These guys don't know anything about electrical. Like, why would they make us do this? You can't do this." And all I could say is, like, you're right. I have no idea. I have never done electrical work. I don't understand any of it. I don't know how electricity works. I have no idea how I've put so many three-way switches in my own house where I've just it never works right. I have one in my basement right now where I like changed it and put in a three-way switch or swap something out. I don't know. I don't understand the wires. I don't know what a neutral is. I don't understand a ground. So yes, you're right. That's why I hire electricians.
Yeah. The joy of design is just like, hey, I have this idea. I don't know how we're going to get it done, but let's come up with this creative thing. And so it's good collaboration for sure with the trades. I enjoy that.
So what's next for you guys? What are the kind of next steps? You're both kind of pedal to the metal, right? I mean, just fundamentally, completely going through a whole rebrand and building up what you guys are doing now.
Yeah,
is like just so cool and had to be so exciting at the same time. It's so much work. So I'm just kind of curious, what are you guys thinking? Where are you taking this thing? What's next?
Oh, it's a good question, Dave. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but well, so we've grown, right, from kitchen and bath focus to let's like renovate a whole home. Okay, let's do structural work and like tear things out. Let's do additions. So what's next could be custom homes. Some new, yeah. I mean, where do we go from here? So, yeah, that's an exciting possibility. I don't know if Sean's watching right now. He's on an airplane, so hi, if you are. But I guess I put it out there. So we are very excited at that possibility of branching into that. There's some really great growing communities here in Orlando. We're born and raised in Orlando, both of us. So we know the area very well, and could definitely see some Park and Patina homes around the spots.
So would those be spec homes, you think? You don't have to give away too much. So these are spec homes, not built for a client? You don't know.
We're so custom. I don't know how to not be custom. I would say it would at least be like, a designer. If it's a spec home, it's kind of like a semi-spec, like a designer did this. You know what I mean? Not like just throw up some walls kind of build. I couldn't do that. So it would have to be done really well. But it's probably going to be like semi-spec to really custom is what we would love to do.
Cool. Yeah. All right. I like it. We kind of started in custom homes a little bit more than remodeling because Russ, my business partner, he's from the home building world. And so that's what he knew. But it was definitely a little bit of a different market, and we kind of fell into remodeling. And I think there's a different kind of value add there because it's so complicated and so complex.
Right.
And what we've seen in home building downturns, and we've been doing this for 13 years, right? There's been a couple times when people just stop building new homes for whatever reason. And what we saw is a lot of the home builders would start to get into remodeling.
Yes.
And then they're like, we have no idea what we're doing. This is crazy. We did not price this properly, right? Because it's just so much less of a factory type operation. Not that there's anything easy about new home construction either, but it is funny. They come into the remodeling and they're like, no, this isn't going to work. So then the home building market comes back and they run with that. And we maybe do one a year or something like that, but we don't really advertise it because we always heard that it was going to be a conflicting kind of marketing effort. Remodeling and custom homes are two different things.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's really the case anymore. But that's cool. That should be fun. I love new homes. But it is funny, like our design team, because we're working on one right now. It is so different in the fact that there's no constraints. Like there's constraints, but not to the level of a remodel where you're really, or in addition, you're really solving for this connection between the two. It's like an empty blank slate. Like, well, where do we start?
Yeah.
And my buddy Scott Evanston, who was on episode 6 or something, decided to text me that he's watching live. So he does a lot of new construction architecture, and I have to have him on again, and we'll talk about that. Like, if you just have a piece of land, where do you even begin? It's completely
Right.
different. Anyway, that's really cool. So we're kind of at time, but we can go a little bit longer if there's other stuff you want to dig into. You were asking me if I do work on my house.
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Do you guys do you and Sean do a lot of work on your own house?
So we just recently bought a new build earlier this year. So we have some things we want to do to customize and make it more of our own. So I'm putting my designer hat on and working on my own home, which is funny because it's much harder to make decisions for myself than it is for other projects.
Oh, yeah.
I've talked to some other, interior designer friends, and it seems to be a common thing. So he actually just hung up the most gorgeous light over our dining table, and we got a different dining table now, this beautiful light from Hinckley, and it's kind of inspired me. Now I think we broke the mold, right? And now we're gonna run through the house and do a bunch of stuff. So we're working on it. Sean's working on the lawn too. That's like the newest obsession, is getting that like perfect looking grass and things. So yeah, we have some projects.
Mine is really bad. I can't figure out what to do with it. My lawn, that is. Yeah, I mean, I like changing and testing things in kind of laboratory. When I was a kid, I remember every like 6 months I'd rearrange my bedroom, like just try stuff like in a different way. I don't know why.
Yep.
And so when you're doing your own house, I do think there's always something fun about. I think there's certain things that you have to be 100 or 99% committed to. Where there's other things like this paint color that I hate, and with the door that sits behind me that looks like a hat.
Yeah.
I can just change them, right? Like, why not? I just paint it, no big deal, or a light fixture. Eventually we can change it.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of liberating with your own house. You can, like, worst case, it's not that great, but then you can just change it if you make a couple dollars and do something later with it. I will say, this is our second house that we've added on to. The first one, geez, what was that? 12 years ago. So I was way younger. So there's a lot more stuff that I said, I'm not paying someone to do. I'm going to do this myself eventually. Right. Because I'm not going to spend all that money now, and I'll just eventually do this. So I had all these like projects to do later.
Yeah.
I probably got 30% of them done, and then we ended up selling the house and moving. And then this house had a little bit of a different mindset where I'm like, if we're gonna put built-in cabinets there in the family room, let's just do them now, right? Let's do them now and let's do them right.
You can enjoy them.
I think I got more stuff into the base contract for this house, but still left a bunch of stuff like screen porch. You know what? I'll build the screen porch. Right? I don't know why I did that, but I figured it would be easier for me to do it, and I still need to do the front porch. Is going to get a big makeover, and then built the tree house, and then I don't know what's next. There's always something.
You built a tree house? You already did it?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bet your kids love that. That's great.
Love building tree houses. It's a fun. So that's pretty much wrapped up for my daughter, who has her own ensuite bathroom, and her primary suite also has her own treehouse, complete with Dutch door and screens and a table and solar lighting. So
Aww.
It's good to be. I was the youngest in my family.
Girl.
I was also spoiled.
That's beautiful.
Do you guys have a treehouse? Has Sean built one, or
no?
He's got to get on.
No treehouse, and in this new home we have little baby trees. So
yeah.
Our youngest wanted a zip line, and we're like, sorry, dude. You don't get that this time.
Well, I'll tell you. So in Chicago, most houses have basements. Orlando, I imagine there's not a whole lot of basements. Probably
no,
zero, right?
No, barely.
And basements are always like the most fun project type for yourself, because you can kind of do whatever you want down there. So I was just thinking about that in terms of fun DIY projects for architects and builders to do in their own houses. That's a good one, right?
So what would you do? Like game room? Are you a sports guy?
Well, so there's several phases to a basement, right? There's when the kids are young and don't go down there to play, and that's basically storage. Then there's when they're a little bit older and they go down there to play, but you're going to have to go down there with them. Okay. So you want it to be like a little bit comfortable, but it's pretty much storage. And then there's kind of that, cool storage for all the toys. So there's a place for them to go and a place where they want to play. So they're not always bringing the toys up to the kitchen. And then there's the next phase, which is video games. And so my favorite basement project was our old house in Chicago. And it had a recessed TV and all this ductwork. So I had like a niche for Lego storage and all this stuff. And then a TV so they could play video games. But I kept every Lego box ever from every Lego set. And I turned that into a wallpaper. So while they were playing video games, they would be inspired to build something.
Okay.
That, right. Then the next phase is, more probably video games so that when they're teenagers, they're coming over with their kids and they're staying at your house and not getting in trouble, right? Place where they can hang out. You don't have to listen to their terrible swearing language. And then after that, then it turns into, like a cool game room type of watch sports thing, right? For the grown-ups.
Hang out. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. The evolution of the basement. Or sometimes it becomes, if it's big enough, becomes an in-law suite, right? With a separate kitchen down there.
Right. Yeah. See, in Florida, because we don't have the basement, I would say most homes, that kind of area that changes over time and is somewhere the kids can go and things, would be the loft. If you have a 2-story home, the loft space would be that, and it changes phases. When I think of basements, can I say this? I think of Home Alone.
Yeah, with the
like
furnace,
creepy this creepy stairs that you go down and the furnace. Like, do your basements look like that, or like when you're saying, like, is it all drywalled out and you don't see the systems and things like that? Like, what does it look like?
So funny story on that house, right? That's in Winnetka, Illinois. That's an actual house. I think it just sold again. You can Google that. Now the basement has a bowling alley in it. So it can be.
That's great.
But yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely a spookiness and a dreariness to an unfinished basement. There's no question.
Yeah.
And ours was always, and actually in our current house in North Carolina, we actually have a basement too. And it's a walkout, but it's small. I've always liked or had cozy basements. So I haven't had these huge expansive spaces, which are probably a little bit better for Super Bowl parties, but ours have been like a little bit cozier because they're cold. So try and make them a little bit warmer, exposed ceiling joists, things like that. But there's some really, really cool stuff you can do with it. And the problem with the loft, and I know this from when we first moved here, we rented a house for 2 years and had the loft, which is great, except it's really loud. Like you couldn't close it off for the rest of the house when my kids were yelling at their friends playing, NHL 2024. But there might be ways to close that off. I don't know. Or you guys, probably a lot of the room over the garage. Is that another kind of big bonus room area?
Yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of builders for newer homes, that's where they put the loft. Usually it is over the garage.
Yeah. Or third floor. Sometimes you can get third floors up there, which is kind of cool.
I don't see that a lot.
No?
No. Yeah, not here.
Yeah, I guess that seems like it's maybe a little bit more of a it's a more complicated solution because you're not trusting the roof. You have to really design for it. And then you got to go up all those stairs to get up there.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that? Anyway, well, we went over time talking about spooky basements and all that stuff. But Kimberly, this is awesome. I really appreciate you agreeing to do this last minute, which is our MO on LivLive. Who knows? Anyone listening, you might just get a 10 p.m. text message. Hey, you want to be on the show tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, it's been fun.
Yeah, any kind of closing thoughts, anything else you want to add, and then make sure people know where to find you and Park and Patina?
Yeah. Well, just thank you for hearing about us and this exciting project that we're working on now, things possibly coming up, but you can find us at parkandpatina.com, and you spell out the A and D. And we're also on socials like that too. So like Instagram, you can find us Park and Patina. So
Awesome.
Right. Well, thank you.
Thanks again, Kimberly. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Bye.